We're going to start, though, with an opening statement. Some of you may have heard, but Alan Reed passed away last night.
Oh, wow.
And that is super, super sad. First of all, the hearts and prayers and all those thoughts go out to the family, number one. Number two, I loved Alan. He was always good to Sounders, good to me. I loved bantering with him. He was a good guy. And he beat some health problems from a few years ago, so we thought we'd get a little bit more of him, more time with him. So certainly a sad day.
What is your earliest memory?
Well, just coming out even in the USL days. He would always come out and cover the team. And I appreciated that. It was good. So thank you, Alan.
Well, going back to the game, you've gotten to see a little bit of video. Any nuances that came out of that video?
Yeah. I mean, the video again, we're shooting ourselves in the foot with some defensive lapses in critical moments. So again, they scored from a corner kick. Granted, it was a second action, but from a corner kick. Then from our kickoff. And then, the third goal. I mean, can't talk enough about that, but we need to be better in those moments, and we'll try and clean some of those up, because when you watch the rest of the tape, you got Danny Levis swinging in a great corner kick ball for Ymar right on the 6-yard box. You had Jordan with the shot that the goalkeeper went and saved at the near post, but maybe Jordan can cut inside to his preferred right foot. There was space. Nobody was coming to double team him. Christian had a half a chance. That scramble. Sota, Jordan, some other half chances in the first half. And then you go down 2. And then it becomes a bit of a scramble. But Osofsky comes on, Albert comes on, there's some bright moments there. Cody Baker's assist was fantastic. And you think you're going to get some points out of the game. We actually talked about it at halftime, that the Galaxy came back from 2-0 at Kansas City. And when we got to 2-2, I think every guy in green, all the coaching staff, we thought we were going to win again.
One of the things that I wanted to ask you about was, what was the thought process behind putting Christian on that left side, and how well did you feel like that reflected?
Worked fine. I mean, we're short. As long as, we talk about Jordan and Raul and where their best positions, we were going to try that option. We were going to keep Jordan up front. Raul likes playing in that number 10 position. And so we were going to keep it for another game, see if it worked. Obviously Chu's injury, put a dent in the starting lineup. So,
Hey, Ryan, post game I asked you that your midfield was kind of the problem, the defense, and you gave a great answer. I went back and looked at it. Is it that your right back and left back aren't helping defensively? Are they spread out too far to help the center backs?
I think there was just individual mistakes on the goals. I mean, if you look at the first goal, Ymar, the ball's at midfield. The first goal was a corner kick. Okay, the corner kick, flick on, as you step, look over your shoulders, find a marker, those kind of things. We didn't do that. Okay. Second goal comes from, Ymar, whatever happened on the right-hand side. He's kind of caught in no man's land, and if you're ever in doubt, just delay. Just delay. And Jackson doesn't think Ymar is going to step, and so he's in a bad spot, and he tries to go off sides, but he was a little late in the recognition. So it's not down to one guy, it's always a team game. I think on the other one, when they had the kickoff after we scored 2-2, that was a team goal. You had 4 guys that were hunting the ball because they were in it. They push forward, 1 pass beats 4. Then, ball goes out wide, Nuku steps forward, big gap, they run through the gap. It's a team goals.
Could the defense be pushed up quicker, even on the goal? It looked like Jackson was trying to get everybody pushed up. I know I did so much soccer.
I mean, there's a lot of things that went wrong on the plays. We're going to try and fix them. We'll do better on our set pieces because that's now cost us. It's cost us against Colorado. It's going to cost us this last game. Take goals off set pieces. I don't like it.
Did you bring up at all to the team that you guys were at the bottom of the bus?
This morning, reality, yes. I asked them if they'd all look at the standings.
What was the answer or the action?
They said, yeah, they know. They know exactly where we're at.
I wanted to ask about Raul. When you have a loss like that or a situation like that, I mean, do you make note of him reaching?
We made it a big deal. We always give game balls away. Danny Wasowski's first goal for the Sounders, and of course Raul finally overtaking Freddie. We made mention of that as one of the positives of the game.
What was his reaction?
He was happy. Raul loves scoring goals.
You mentioned injuries and Leo. Is that something that's going to be a long-term injury? Do you know the severity behind it?
They are going to work with him because it's a little bit of a pain tolerance issue, but it is a tear, and he's going to have to be out probably 3 to 5 weeks, somewhere in that range.
How concerning is it that there's been so many, injuries? And I know that some of those are.
That was a tendon issue, not a muscular injury. Choose was. He's been dealing with some tendonitis in his knee. Now we know why.
But Raul wasn't out here though, right?
He's taking a pro day.
And then the other injury, Obed. So I guess he sounded like he picked up he got a concussion protocol.
He's in concussion protocol. I believe he's going to make it through, but that's out of my control. There are certain steps. Concussions are critical. We're not going to put him out there and risk him. Nothing like Christian, anything like that. We take concussions very seriously. There's the protocol. We'll go through the protocol, but I believe he'll be back in time for LA.
And so his injury happened on Thursday, I guess. Was like at the end of training or something on Thursday?
Yep.
What was how did he?
He fell backwards and hit his head.
And then with Leo, was that was it something that happened in training, or was that just like he was having pain, so you looked into it?
We don't
and
know
you
100%, Jeremiah. There was one pinpoint that he said, it felt worse, but I think that's been an ongoing issue.
Sorry, you had also mentioned that you guys were doing an MRI on Reed's hamstring. What was the result of that?
I don't know off the top of my head exactly. I don't think there was any new damage. They're just trying to chart progress to make sure that they don't miss anything. And I didn't hear anything. I don't remember them telling me any bad news.
Back, and then Albert, assuming maybe be able to play 90 minutes, does that kind of move Christian back on the right, or does it still?
We'll
jumble
see about
things up?
we'll see about lineup choices. Obviously, we got to work on Raul and Obed. They were starters here before their injuries. But yes, you mentioned Albert, and I think he played well, and he will be in the starting lineup.
Danny Leyva seems to be another player that, when it comes to the passing and the set pieces, he was a good light.
He played over the top to Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's talked himself into maybe some options.
Yeah. He's always been in the conversation. His chances haven't come as often as he would have liked, but I think he does have like 100 games in MLS, and he was fine. Minnesota were fine.
Notice Cody started for Tacoma yesterday.
Yep.
What was the thinking behind him getting action so quickly?
Just getting 90 minutes, because he only played 20 some odd minutes. So the young guys that don't play significant minutes, whenever there's a chance to play for Defiance, they will.
You talked about finishing. I mean, Danny, his goal, if you look back at it, he had to play that perfectly without
Fouling him?
Yeah, not fouling the defender. It's a
Great header.
boom, boom.
Yeah, it's a great ball. All the power from his header came from the ball, because Cody's ball, the goalkeeper couldn't come for it because of the pace of the cross, and so he just needed to redirect. So it was a good play.
We've talked a lot about where Jordan might fit better. What were your thoughts on how he played this game, and the narrative that's going to continue to play out about him not scoring
until he starts scoring goals? it's not a done narrative. It's not a done deal as to where he's going to end up. The remainder of the season, we're still going to work on it. There might be some changes. See if those work. If those don't work, he'll get another shot. Masowski might get a chance. He played well when he came on. There's going to be competition there.
When it comes to Leo's injury, I mean, that left side seems to be your first pass when you get the ball. Does that mean that you need a guy that can stretch out the defense a little bit more in terms of speed?
I'm not so sure it's our first pass. Maybe it looks like that. It's not coached to be the first pass. But look, we wanted Jordan to get in behind. We wanted Tevez to get in behind. We wanted Jordan to get in behind. We had 3 willing runners in the game. Thought it was, okay in certain moments. But obviously, we didn't score till, second half.
Andrew Thomas played well, but would like to have Stefan Fry back there. Not only just his ability to get the ball downfield when you need it.
Well, his leadership was critical. At 2-0, some teams would have given up. Some guys would have packed it in, but Steph and the senior players at halftime, they were getting the troops rallied.
When you look at the defense and some of the little mistakes, I mean, are these rare, or are there any regressions?
Well, it's rare, considering
last year,
the difference between last year and this year. We've always prided ourselves on being a hard team to beat, defensively solid, disciplined, some of those things. We'll get back to it. Remember, it was Yaimar's first came back. Jackson was playing in a different position. Okay, Alex and knew who they've been playing. But center back pairs are certainly important. So let's just see how it goes, and then look, again, if it doesn't work, then there'll be competition.
Any rest with Steph at all, too?
No, I thought Steph was good. Made the saves he had to. I thought he was good.
You said after the game that you weren't quite ready to make any changes defensively. I'm just curious, how do you go about choosing the right time or is that sort of like it's a little feel thing? How do you assess that?
Well, it depends if the player is playing, up to his potential or below his potential. Have you done everything as a coach to help that player reach his potential, give him the tools to be successful, and then he just is in a slump? Then maybe you wake him up with a different method. Never been a guy that, I've never been like that. I'm more conservative. So we'll try and get guys to play up to their potential. And then, during certain moments of certain games, if they're not, then you make subs.
I see JP out here. Do you have a timeline on his?
No timeline on his return yet. Each time they ramp him up, he has to be pain-free.